So Myles Garrett requested a trade today from the Cleveland Browns. He put out an official statement, or he drafted a statement, gave it to Ian Rappaport, who posted it all over social media, basically saying, look, I don't just want to go to the Hall of Fame. I want a chance to compete for a title, for a Super Bowl. And clearly I'm not going to have that opportunity in Cleveland. So yes, 49er fans, the answer to your question is yes, 1,000,000% the 49ers should do this. What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Seth Floyd Show. I'm your host, Seth Floyd Hansen. I appreciate you joining and helping create traffic to my channel and being a part of this. Guys, if you're here and you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and do so. You guys are incredible. Incredible for those of you who have subscribed. The last video I did over the weekend, was it over the weekend? Yeah, it was like Thursday. I was at 260 subscribers, 261 maybe. And as of today, as I hit record on this video, I'm up to 270. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate it. If you're here right now, just hit that subscribe button. It does so much for me, my opportunity, my goals to do this full time one day. All you got to do is hit subscribe, and you have no idea how much it helps. If you've ever tried to create a YouTube channel, having that subscriber count up is everything. So please and thank you. The goal is to hit 500 subscribers by the 1st of September, by the 2025 football season, and every subscription counts. So thank you guys. You're awesome. Guys, this is crazy. The Myles Garrett trade, we're not even going to get into, because we don't really talk basketball on this channel. We're not going to get into the Luka trade. That's all I was listening to today. And as a Laker fan, sorry 49er fans, I didn't grow up a Warriors fan. I grew up a Lakers fan. Blame it on my father for being a Magic Johnson fan back in the day, okay? So I was geeking over that, the Luka trade, and then all of a sudden I'm sitting there working, listening to podcasts about Luka. I get the notification that Myles Garrett has officially requested a trade. Insane. And yes, the answer is yes. As I said before, the 49ers absolutely should try to trade for Luka, for Myles Garrett, okay? Absolute generational talent, okay? He's 29. I think he'll turn 30 near the end of the 2025 season. And there is not very many price tags that I wouldn't hit to acquire Myles Garrett, okay? He's been a Pro Bowler 8 times. He's been an All-Pro 4 times, won the 2023 Defensive Player of the Year. I think that was the 2022 season, but he won it in 2023. Anyway, I'm not sure. He's in the running every single year for it. I think he's had 4 straight seasons or 5 straight seasons with at least 12 sacks. He's had 14 in back-to-back years. The dude is a monster. He's incredible, and he's not slowing down anytime soon. What I mean by anytime soon is you're going to get elite play from Myles Garrett for at least 3 seasons. Okay, it's not a 1-year rental. It's not even a 2-year thing. I imagine for 3 straight years, you're going to have Nick Bosa in his prime, and you're going to have Myles Garrett wreaking havoc. Okay, the answer is yes. I would do the Trey Lance trade without even thinking twice. What did we give up? We gave up 3 first-rounders and a third-rounder. Do it in a heartbeat. Wouldn't even think twice, because listen, it is about winning a Super Bowl. Yes, it's a risk, because if you trade for Myles Garrett and you don't win a Super Bowl, then yeah, you're gonna be kicking yourself. It's kind of like what the Rams did with Matthew Stafford. Everyone's like, man, they're all in. And guess what? They won a Super Bowl, and no one cares. And they've rebuilt, and they've done fine. You know why? Because they hit on later draft picks, which is what the 49ers are better at anyway. So whatever. I know they are kind of in this situation right now where they're down because of that Trey Lance trade. A lot of people view that as man, that's why they've kind of been held back this year especially. And that might be true, but look at this draft class they just had. They feel like they are on a good trajectory because of this last draft class they just had in 2023. And it's not because of Ricky Pearsall, who I like Ricky Pearsall, but it's because of Dominic Pooney. It's because of Renardo Green. It's because of Malik Mustafa. All those guys were after the first round. So if you tell me I can get Myles Garrett for a couple of first-round picks, dare I say even 3 first-round picks, do it. I would do it. I might be wrong, but I would do it, because in the NFL, the most devastating thing you can have is a dominating defensive line. More than a dominating offensive line is a dominating defensive line. Because as we've said, offense, you can scheme. Offense, you can scheme around the weaknesses on your line, around your lack of weapons. If you have a good offensive play caller, you can find ways to be productive. That's not the case on defense. Like, yes, you have a scheme on defense, but you can't scheme around the weaknesses because you're reading and reacting. Well, if you have a bookend with Nick Bosa and Myles Garrett, you are dominating. Look at some of the devastating defensive lines in history. I'm just gonna point out a couple. Okay, the 2 Super Bowls that the Giants won in the 2000s against Tom Brady, both times, okay, were because of that defensive line. They had 4 monsters along that defensive line. And then let's look at I guess it was the 2020 season, Tom Brady and the Tampa Bay Bucks. They won that Super Bowl 31-9. Yeah, because of that devastating defensive line that they had. And Patrick Mahomes just couldn't do anything. Okay, if you can create pressure without having to blitz all the time, you are set. You are going to be good. Okay, and if you look at the cap numbers, like, it's very reasonable right now. Now, it depends what Myles Garrett would want. Does he need a new contract upon being traded? Now, he did say there was later clarification from someone somewhere that this is not an attempt for a new contract. 49er fans, you've seen trade requests, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, which I don't know if Ayuk ever officially gave a trade request. I think he did. I don't know, whatever. For like contract leverage, okay? But this is not, Myles Garrett has said, apparently, it was clarified, this is not a negotiation play. This is I want to win, and I'm not going to be able to win here. So maybe if Myles Garrett is going to the right team, maybe if he feels like the 49ers are contenders, then he'll be like, look, I'll wait to the end of the 2025 season to talk new contract. I don't know. It's possible. It's possible. Maybe it won't happen. I think that even if you're like, look, I have to give him a contract, I'm still exploring it. To me, this is let's trade for him and we'll figure everything else out later because that's how good he is. Now, what is the compensation? What would the compensation be for Myles Garrett? Well, I'd imagine it's 2 ones to start. And if I'm the Browns, I am looking for multiple ones and a player that I can put in. So who are the untouchables on the 49ers? Well, Brock Purdy, probably untouchable, I would imagine, because you don't have another quarterback waiting in the wings. You don't have a quarter. So unless you feel like you could sign Sam Darnold, I don't know. My guess is they wouldn't do that either because they're paying Deshaun Watson so much money and you're going to have to pay Brock. So let's just, to make things simple, Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa is untouchable only because if you did a 1-for-1 swap, I had someone ask me this today, Shaq Nums, what up? He asked me, would you do Nick Bosa for Myles Garrett straight up? Probably not because Bosa's younger, even though I think Myles Garrett is the better player. Bosa is younger. And if you swapped Nick Bosa for Myles Garrett straight up, like you're only marginally better. You don't feel like all of a sudden we're like a true contender or favorites. You only feel like a favorite to win the Super Bowl if you have both those guys. So I wouldn't do that. And then I'd probably say Fred Warner is probably untouchable for Myles Garrett, but I mean, don't tempt me with a good time because I could be talked into, look, if I traded away Fred and I knew I was getting Dre Greenlaw back, I might be able to be talked into it because that's how much more I care about the defensive line. And have we ever seen a pairing of like a Nick Bosa and a Myles Garrett on the same team? I mean, maybe. I can't think of anything off the top of my head. Leave in the comments, has there been anything comparable to 2 pass rushers of those prestige and reputation on the same defensive line? I'm not sure. But I would just say those 3. I don't think they'd be interested in Trent Williams because he's old. So I don't know. If I were the Browns, this is what I'm doing. If I'm like, for some reason I have to trade with the 49ers, this is the trade package I'd be looking for. I'd be like, look, I need 2 firsts. I need a second this year or a second next year. And then I want a young guy. And the 2 guys on my brain that I would want, Ricky Pearsall, okay, young receiver. He was a first rounder last year, so it's almost like getting another first round pick. He's on a cheap contract, someone we can just build around, throw him in there. I'd be interested. If not Ricky Pearsall, give me like a Renardo Green, a cornerback who looks really good, rookie season, rookie contract. Give me 2 first rounders, a second, and Renardo Green, and you got a deal. Like that is the kind of deal I would be looking for if I'm the Browns. And if I'm a 49ers, if I'm the front office, I'm doing it. I'm sorry. I know you love you some Renardo Green. Guys, you have Demo. Maybe you sign a DJ Reed in the offseason or bring someone else in. I don't know. But I want Myles Garrett, and I would give up Renardo Green. Find somebody in the draft maybe. I don't know. Ricky Pearsall, love him to death. You don't know what he's going to be, and if they're interested and that's what's going to put him over the hump, I'm giving him Ricky Pearsall, and I'm just going to find somebody in free agency that hopefully can just kind of fill in, a low-level guy. That's what I would do. Now, a couple things going for the 49ers in terms of the trade. People have likened this to the Khalil Mack trade, that dumb trade the Raiders did. Why they traded Khalil Mack, I'm not sure. He wasn't requesting a trade. The problem with that is the 49ers offered the best package, but Mark Davis was not going to do business with the 49ers. So one thing the 49ers have going for them is there is none of that beef, none of that contention that would stop the Browns from trading to the 49ers. I wouldn't think, if they have the best package. It also helps they're not in their division, obviously. They're not even in the same conference. You are a NFC team, and if I'm the Browns, I'm trying to trade him to the NFC. I don't want to see him go to anywhere in the AFC to where I'm going to see him, or in a couple years down the road, if we feel like we've righted the ship, we're in the playoffs, and now I have to face Myles Garrett in the playoffs. I don't want to do that. So do you have a couple of those things going for you? That's not the end-all be-all, but it's a plus. One plus we didn't have when we were trying to trade for Khalil Mack. If I had to take a guess, the 49ers will be interested and they will be aggressive. I think that Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they feel that pressure. Our team in 2023 was as good as any team we've had, should have won the Super Bowl. 2019, as good of a team, that defense was better than the 2023 defense, a devastating defensive line, and we let it get away from us. I think they feel that pressure, and I think in their mind, they're like, holy crap, if we can land a Myles Garrett and win the Super Bowl, who cares how many first-round picks it takes? I think that they'll be interested. Now, there will be some line that they draw. They're not going to give up 4 or 5 first-round picks. But Lynch is going to be on the phone. How do you know? Because he was on the phone in the Khalil Mack stuff we've already talked about. He's going to be aggressive. If I'm the Browns, okay. Oh, here's the other thing. This is the other thing I wanted to bring up. You have the 11th pick. You're not offering them the 25th pick or the 31st pick like we were last year. You're offering them the 11th pick. And in 2026, that pick probably won't be as high, but this year you have a chance to have 2 picks in the top 11. What are they picking? Second? They're picking second, right? So you could have pick 2, pick 11, probably pick 43. So you could have 4 picks inside the top 50. That is how you get back on track. They have to figure out the quarterback situation. Fine. Maybe if you have pick 11, you feel good, okay, we're going to take Shadur Sanders, or there's a lot of Jackson Dart buzz right now. I don't know. But I know if you have 4 picks in the top 50, you're sitting pretty to kind of write this thing. It's tempting. I think it would be tempting. So you have some of those things going for you for the 49ers. If I had to guess, you're going to get some team that is not a true Super Bowl contender. You're going to have some team that is just trying to get back into the playoffs, that are going to do something irresponsible and absolutely break the bank. Okay? And maybe that's, to be fair, 49ers didn't make the playoffs this year. Now, 49er fans, we want to believe it's because of injuries, and that's what I believe, but maybe, I don't know. But I'm thinking, you're going to get a team like the Chicago Bears. Someone floated that out today. And the Bears just need to get into the playoffs. The Bears just need to prove that they can be a competitive team. And a lot of people are high on Ben Johnson, and maybe they are, but you're going to have a team like the Bears just do something irresponsible, give up 4 first-round picks for Myles Garrett, and all of a sudden they're good, and they're going to be an 11-win team, but they still have a lot of holes that they've got to fill on that offensive line. That is going to be a huge problem. And they've never proven that they can get there, at least not in recent memory. I think if I'm the Browns, that's what I want to do, because I feel like if I traded him to the Bears, do I really think they're going to automatically be a deep playoff team? No, they're going to net me a higher draft pick for the next 3 years, or how many first rounders they give me. Also, I don't want to see Myles Garrett win a Super Bowl with another team. So ideally, I'm going to trade him to a team that's not very good, willing to give up a ton, so that I don't have to watch that. But so if I had to take a guess, it's going to be a team like the Bears. Man, what are some of these other teams that feel like they're close? Well, I don't know. The Cardinals, for some reason, came to my mind, that kind of team that's just trying to fight to get into the playoffs. That's the kind of move I would make if I were the Browns. But you never know. Maybe they'll go the 49er route, which would be incredible. The thing I hate about this is going to be long and drug out. I don't expect a resolution on this in the next couple of weeks. I don't expect a resolution on this before free agency, if I'm being honest. This might go all the way up to draft time. And what's frustrating is you're going to have a lot of nothing reports that come out. Reports that are talking about Myles Garrett but don't have any substance behind it. Like the 49ers have called about Myles Garrett. Cool, that doesn't tell me anything. You're going to have a lot of reports that say Myles Garrett is firm in his trade request. And then the Browns are firm in their denial of entertaining any type of trade offer for Myles Garrett. There's going to be a lot of that over the next month. And this topic is just going to get beaten with it. We're beating a dead horse. Okay, that's what this is going to be, and it's going to be really frustrating. On top of that, the Browns have never been accused of being like a really well-run organization, so I expect them to fumble this and make this mistake. If I were the Browns GM, this is what I would do. You are not close. You are not close. You have a debacle, a horrendous situation at quarterback. You are not close. You have a good coach. I like Kevin Stefanski. So I feel like Kevin Stefanski is the right guy, but you are not close. If I were him, I would sit down as the GM. I would sit down with Myles Garrett. I would just be like, man, can we just meet? Can we get dinner? Let's talk about this. See if there's absolutely anything you can do to reconcile this. I do that in the next week or the week after the Super Bowl. If Myles Garrett makes it clear, sorry, man, no bad blood. We gotta move on from this. Then I would just acquiesce. And before free agency, I'm putting a plan together. I'm making sure this gets done before free agency so that I can just make a plan for the offseason of how I'm going to rebuild this roster with my new assets. Okay? I don't expect him to do that, but that's what I would do. Just cut your losses, man. Cut your losses. If he is adamant he's not coming back and there's nothing that you can do, then just cut your losses. Trade him, get a haul of picks, and then hit on those picks. Make some moves in free agency and figure out that quarterback situation and write this thing. That's what I would do. That feels like the responsible thing to do rather than drag on with a player who does not want to be there. Who knows what'll happen. All in all, yes, 49er fans, there's not many prices, I think, that are too big. I mean, I'm thinking of the Khalil Mack trade. I think he went for multiple picks, but what did he go for? He went for 2 first-rounders, a second, a third, something like that. I would do it. Done. I would do it. That's how good Myles Garrett is. Regardless, you know Lynch is going to make calls if he hasn't already. I expect him to make calls, get an idea for where this thing is headed, and try to get an idea of what is the starting point and see if they can put a package together. Stay tuned because it's going to get fun real fast. Cooper Kupp has been informed he's going to be traded. We'll talk about that pretty soon probably. I bet there's other guys on the block that are just going to be moved, and it's going to be an interesting offseason for sure. But with any updates, we'll get it to you as fast as we can. I work a full-time job, so I get them to you as reasonably fast as I can. But again, you guys are the best. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video if you can. Everything you do helps, and you guys are awesome. Go Niners.